Hi. Yay, fam, a lamb. Love. So, what have I got to update you on? Wow. Well. I thought I'd start with this. I have to be careful because I keep getting told off by copyright for putting songs in. Source copyright. But I only put them in because they're important to what I'm saying. Get the message. But here we go. So this is by Motivation Empire. I'm going to put the link in. Always do. Always check the description boxes. The description boxes are always completely full of everything that I've been doing and reading and researching. So this is Motivation Empire, Lone Wolf motivational speech. And the YouTube thumbnail is never fuck with someone who isn't afraid to be alone. You'll lose every single time. Isn't that the truth? Right. Let's turn the volume up on this bad boy.
The wolf on the hill is never as hungry as the wolf climbing the hill.
It's not easy going it alone, but if you keep going, stay true to yourself, it will be worth it in the end. The hardest walk you can make is the walk you make alone. But that is the walk that makes you the strongest. That is the walk that builds your character the most. To all of you fighting battles alone, to all of you going against the grain, battling the naysayers, stay strong. Keep going. Stay strong. Keep going. This walk is hard, but the hardest walks lead to the greatest destinations. The toughest climbs always lead to the best views. It will be worth it in the end. And if you show what you are made of, the right people will show up in your life. You won't be a lone wolf forever. You have qualities only few can admire because most don't possess. You have strength only few can understand because most have never experienced. So don't give in. Don't settle. Don't lower your expectations to fit into the world. You were born to stand out. You were born to lead. Lead the pack. They say the wolf on the hill is never as hungry as the wolf climbing the hill. Always be that wolf climbing the hill. Always hungry for more. Always hungry to grow, to feed your mind and rise to the highest level you can take yourself. Never looking back, always looking forward to the next feast of success in whatever you do. It does not matter if you have to walk alone for a while. It is much better to walk alone in the right direction than to follow the herd walking in the wrong direction. Stay strong. Be different. Your destiny is in your hands. Get out there and hunt it.
what I mean? Power. Listen to that every morning when you get up. Smashing it. So, oh, hello. Hold on, you. So yeah, I guess this is going to lead on to Xgate update, but just never let the hate and judgment of others affect you, because it means absolutely nothing. They don't know what they're talking about. I just use it as fuel. Imagine you're a little flame, and their hate and their judgment is just gasoline on that flame. It's just going to propel you forward. Use it as fuel. Use it as fuel to make your success. Use their hatred and judgment as little stepping stones to your destination, to your dream. Because they're wrong. They don't know what they're talking about. So it doesn't matter what they say. Sticks and stones. Yeah. Just ignore. Literally. Ignore. Yeah. And then I was going to I'll read this as well, because I found this poem. This is Justice by Rudyard Kipling. Hold on. Read on it. Oh, it's going to freeze now, isn't it? Hold on, sorry. Rudyard Kipling. Oh, here we go, look. Right. Across a world where all men grieve, and grieving strive the more, the greater days range like tides and leave our dead on every shore. Heavy the load we undergo, and our hands prepare. If we have parley with the foe, the load our sons must bear. Before we lose the word that bids new worlds to birth, needs must we loosen first the sword of justice upon the earth. Or else all else is vain, since life on earth began, and the spent world sinks back again, hopeless of God and man. A people and their king, through ancient sin, grow strong, because they feared no reckoning, was set no bound to wrong. But now their hour is past, and we who bore it find evil incarnate hell at last to answer to mankind. For agony and spoil of nations beat to dust, for poisoned air and tortured soil and cold commanded lust, and every secret woe the suddening waters saw, willed and fulfilled by high and low, let them relearn the low. That when the dooms are read, not high nor low shall say, my haughty or my humble head was saved me in this day. But till the end of time, their remnants shall recall their fathers' old Confederate crime availed them none at all. That neither schools nor priests nor kings may build again a people with the hearts of beasts made wise concerning men, whereby our dead shall sleep in honour unbetrayed, and we in faith and honour keep that peace for which they paid. Yeah, I just found that and I thought it was appropriate. No, I did a painting. Do you like it? Sparkly. Got my glitters out. Normally they'd be on my face, but you know, I'm repurposing them into paintings. So, Xgate update. It's a radio silence on the X's front. Needless to say, shock not. For two men that have an awful lot to say about me, behind my back, it's amazing that when they're confronted, they have nothing to say. So this is actually, it's probably easier if I read it off this. So where were we at? Oh yeah, I read you the email that I sent there. Sent the solicitor and the judge and copied in all the press because I'm going to tell my story, as well as obviously doing this. So what happened is yesterday I woke up and I was like, hold on a minute, they're not actually something. I woke up with this thing in my head about checking cases. So that's what I did. And what became very evident, I mean, it was already evident anyway, because they've got absolutely no grounds whatsoever. They haven't got a legal leg to stand on between them. But what became very evident from that research, some very basic, simple research, which had they have done, they'd know. But clearly, they know best. At least they think they do, or on the basis of nothing and done no research. So no court anywhere, and that's looking at case law, wants to split up parents anyway. You have to go through mediation, which they've not done. Then you have to get some kind of court order, which they've also not got. And you have to have evidence and reason, which they've also not got. And the things that Sam Evanson, my eldest son's dad, referenced was funny because he referenced, because the two of them are working together, because they live not far from each other, and the boys go to Sam sends my eldest son to Wayne's mum's house to babysit. So so the first thing he referenced was friends. He was like, oh, where your friends think. I was like, I haven't seen or spoken to my friends for like a year. Intentionally. It's not because I don't like them. It's just because I'm busy focusing on setting up my own stuff and sorting my own shit out and getting my business set up. And I was also, my friends are not their friends. We live hundreds of miles apart. And my actual friends are most certainly not their friends. And the one person that they refer to is somebody who they both detest vehemently and vocally said so throughout the entirety of our relationships. And even Wayne, the criminal, he even threatened her verbally, like threatened her life on Facebook Messenger. She's herself is an alcoholic, living with an alcoholic, and is also on various different prescription drugs. So it's like, and you're using her as as some kind of commentary when I haven't spoken to you. She's one of those frenemies. Do you know what I mean? And I haven't seen her about a year and a half. Like, I haven't spoken. She hasn't got a fucking clue what I'm doing. And so there's that. Then there was Wayne went on a spate. Wayne and his family went on a spate of making harassing calls to social services when the boys weren't here. I spoke to social services and I proved that I was doing what I've always said I'm doing. I said them all, it copies it fine, but they kept doing it. So then it's just adding evidence against him as harassing calls. It's like, keep it coming. You're just doing yourself. You're proving. You're doing all the hard work for me. So, and then, but because obviously he's probably not giving him the background, so Sam's then using that as like, oh, well, there's social. I was like, social services, what? They didn't. I was like, You don't even know what you're talking about. They care. I've spoken to social services because they're noting down these as harassing calls from Wayne Walker and his family. And what was the other one he used? Oh, my family. He didn't reference my mum, who I live with and look after, who knows because she sat here all day, every day with me to sees what work I'm doing. No. He uses my two brothers that I don't have a relationship with whatsoever and live in other parts of the country. And they also don't know what I'm doing. And the only reason they got involved is, oh, guess what? Wayne Walker phoned them when he went on a harassing spree of my friends and family. So it's like you've literally got nothing. You've literally got nothing but your own hatred and your own ego. Like, calm yourselves, right? Anyway, so there's that. And then I woke up and I thought, hold on a minute. They're not thinking about so I looked up the case law, and then in doing so, I looked up psychology, and I was like, they're basically forcing, by forcing no contact, which they have no legal right to do, and no basis upon which to do so. And they've clearly not checked online either. And I was like, they're not even caring about, they're doing it out of self-interest as a means, as a weapon to using the children against me for outing their behaviour. So this is really for the women out there and men who are going through difficult situations with domestic violence and, you know, threatening behaviour and narcissistic behaviour and controlling behaviour. Now, listen, I looked up the psychology of this, and taking away a child from their parent is psychologically damaging, particularly to young children. It's traumatic. And I was like, and that just goes again. It's like they're doing it for themselves. They're not doing it because they care about what the kids. They're not caring about what's happening for the kids, particularly after everything that's happened in, like, just with pandemic and lockdown and all of this. So, so I sent this. And obviously I copied in the usual crowd, the BBC, Sky News, the Bauer Media, court, solicitors, and them. So yeah, I sent this. Just wait with me while it loads. I still haven't got it. Like, I've got this bloody video tech, yeah. I haven't had time to go. I've got this video editor to try and make my videos more snazzy. You know, like, I'm not Gen Z. I'm 39. I'm just catching up. I'm catching up with kids, and they just got much better at editing skills. I mean, I do no editing, as you can well tell, but you know, like cutting out all the ums and ahs and all the these bits here. I can't be bothered. Sorry, I haven't got time for that. I'm too busy learning. Right. It's just typical, isn't it? When you want to do something quick. So while it's loading, let me tell you, strap in, because this is going to be special. Because I was thinking about this. I was thinking, I need to tell some home truths here. I need to tell the fam, you know, I need to tell the global fam about what it's like, what these kind of drug dealers are like. And here's the thing. Yeah, they're very good. And this isn't just just a drug dealer thing, but it's most certainly a narcissistic. They're very good at lying. They're pathological liars. And they're very good at manipulating you, and they're very good at convincing you that they love you, when really all you are is and this is going to sound crude, but you're a hole when it's a man looking at a woman in this specific instance. This isn't all men. This is very specific narcissists. You're a hole, and you're a cash cow. And if you're thinking you're anything more than that, and particularly when it's to do with drug dealers, I mean, they listen. Because obviously a lot of his family are also drug dealers, and a lot of his friends are also drug dealers, and the way that they talk about and treat women would make most women's stomachs turn, let's put it that way. And I can be very specific. So because obviously they're selling drugs, so they get people addicted to drugs, and then these women that are addicted to drugs that they sell to, will basically do whatever they say for drugs. So you see how I'm saying you're a hole and you're a cash cow? So you're either buying the drugs off them, so you're making the money, or a lot of times they'll then just, if girls will just offer themselves. And that is just the truth. So they're taking advantage of vulnerable people that are addicted to drugs that they're selling. And when they want more and they ain't got the money to pay for it, then guess what? They're going to use them. And they use them for whatever they want. So that might be making them sell drugs for them, or it might be sucking their dick, or it might be having sex, or it might be making them have sex with somebody else while they're watching. That kind of thing. And they think it's funny. They think they're funny. They think they are big bad men for doing that. They're like high-fiving each other and stuff for that behavior. And in several instances, the other thing that they do is as I said to you, what they do is they want a monogamous woman. Yeah. But they want to be the cheater, but they want to say that they're monogamous, right? But they just want to shag her at anything that moves. And so what they'll do is they'll keep up that pretense, and then in several instances they will then go to the council and claim that they aren't with their baby mothers, and they will claim get a house or a flat, a council house or a flat, or get something and get a housing benefit to cover it, even saying that they're not with the baby mothers, but they are. And then they'll get it to cover any children that they've got, saying that they have them, which they never do. And then they will use that property as their spot where they sell the drugs, grow the drugs, or have that'll be their side bitch pad and gangbang pad. And I know that for a fact because I had the unfortunate time of being taken to one of these, and that's one of his family members. And I would say, and when we went there, they just finished a gangbang, and they did not fucking shut up about it. And that conversation is etched in my memory. How they were talking about the women. And it's like, can you not keep your dick in your pants for like a day? Or, you know, if you're going to be like that, just find another woman that wants to be like that. you can't have it both ways. If you want to be with somebody who sleeps around, go be with a woman that sleeps around then. But don't want to have the old happy home and the monogamy and pretending that you are that when you are absolutely not that. And then any chance you get, you go into your shag pad with your side bitches and your gangbangs. And then the other thing that they do is then they advertise these gangbangs on sites such as swingers.co.uk or fetlife.com. So they get other randoms to come there. So they're like a walking STD alarm. That's all they are. And that is just a fact. And it's hard because you don't, when you're with that person and they've manipulated you and lied to you and you've believed it, and then you just don't want to not believe it, is what it is. You want to believe that they love you like you love them. And they just never did. And it's okay, because you'd have loved them like that anyway. Because it's not your fault. When you're with somebody like that, it's not your fault. It's not you. It's them. And I guess that's what, over this time, I just learned, like, he was always like that. And he just lied to me on that from the get-go. And I wanted to believe him. But now I realise I was meant to meet him anyways. I was meant to have the boys. I was meant to go through that experience to make me who I am now. So I'm actually grateful for it, even though it's the most horrendous period of time. But my gosh, did I learn? You know? So many lessons. And it's a thing as well. And look, I'm going to give you an example, because I don't want anyone to think that there's any kind of anyone can do this. It can be a man or a woman, and it can be any race. It's not, you know, because there was a guy, and I'm thinking of, I forget his name, I actually wrote it down the other day. There's this white guy who had 12 kids, and he had he had a wife and a mistress, and he was on benefits, and he was claiming 70 odd grand a year, and he was totally proud of it. He was in the paper, he was all bigging himself up like, yeah, I'm Britain's biggest benefit claimer or fraudster, whatever. He was bigging himself up, and he wanted to have a bigger council house. And he had his mistress live in a camper van outside, and he'd spend 2 nights in with his wife and then 2 nights in the camper van with his girlfriend, and he'd swap it like that. And then obviously they both worked. He didn't work. The 2 women worked, and he took all their money as well. All right. And then the one that was in the camper van went, nah, do you know what? No, I'm done here. So she took her 6 kids and left, and he lost it because it meant that he was down on money. That's all he cared about. So he wanted to make a claim to get a bigger council house, and obviously that scuppered that plan. Also, she left with her work money, which really should be hers, obviously, but he was taking it. And so what he planned to do with his wife was set the house on fire. The plan was to set it on fire to say that the ex had done it. This is the levels, people. To say that the ex had done it. to get a new house, basically. But what they didn't realise is that whatever they used, and because whatever was in the house, it went up in flames in a heartbeat, and all of his kids were in that house and they all died. All 6 kids, all of his 6 kids that were in the house. And it's just really this is the levels, this is the seriousness of men and women that are narcissists, that will go to those fucking levels, the levels that I'm telling you about. This kind of the other gem is they've got a lot of baby mothers all over the place, and it's because they just cannot keep their dick in their pants. And the other line that they'll spin is, I don't want to use a condom, my dick's too big. Shut up. No, it ain't. I've used a vibrator bigger than that. The worst thing, the biggest thing in this room is your monster-sized fucking ego. Get it out. Get it out. So, this was my email. For the immediate attention of the judge and solicitor, case Wayne Walker, King Walker and Zeus Walker, Sam Everson, Charlie Everson. Further to my email evidence and statements provided, further to the lack of response from either of these men or any solicitor or any court, and further to the forced separation of me from my children, I'd like to point out some additional information and research I found. Firstly, both of these men grew up without dads. Wayne's dad refused to acknowledge his existence until relatively recently, but still doesn't accept him as his son. Wayne's mum Eileen blocked him from seeing Wayne when she was younger, the effect of which has had a detrimental impact on Wayne, his own mental health, and indeed his own ability to be a dad, as he simply didn't know what a good one looked like, something that he himself would regularly discuss, which he did. Sam's dad cheated on his mum with a stripper when he was young and left him, so he didn't have a relationship with his dad until his teens, and even then it was a struggle as he felt abandoned. The relationship was very difficult between them until about 5 years into our relationship. History then repeats itself, as this is the exact same thing that he ultimately did to me. He met a stripper at a stag do when we were together, went off with her, had a child, she cheated on him, and then they got divorced. He also took her to court as he has a problem with women from his life experiences, which he does. The impact of being fatherless was further apparent by how they behaved during and after our separations. All of my friends advised me to stop them at the time of these separations, that I should stop them from seeing the boys altogether because of their actions towards me. But I did not want to be one of those women that did that. I recognise the importance of having dads around, regardless of my own relationship with these men, as what is best for the children always comes first. Having seen and felt the emotional and psychological impact on both Sam and Wayne of being fatherless, I did not want the same fate for my boys. So I put my feelings aside for the benefit of the boys, something that is crystal clear from the actions, threats, and forced separation of the children from their mother, their primary caregiver for all their lives, the one who nurtured them, who cuddled them to sleep at night, who kissed them when they cried, who told them she loved them all day long, who gave birth to them. It is blatantly obvious from the facts that these two men are completely incapable of putting their own hatred for me aside and are solely thinking about themselves and are in no way considering the impact on their own children's mental health and the effect of being taken away from their mother, something they should know very, very well, having not had dads. Have these boys not suffered enough already from all of the comings and goings from these two men over the years, from the threats and violence they would have heard from them against me and my mum, from the last year of forced isolation due to a pandemic, from the mental health impact that all of this would have already had on them on their short lives? And now they want to take my children away from me with no reason, no evidence, and there is no way I will not fight for my children to be back home with me where they should be. Their behaviour is what is disgraceful. And then I've put in the links to the psychological studies that I found about children being taken away from their mothers. Needless to say, I have not had a response. So I phoned up the social services today in both of their towns, and the social workers' words were, "That's crazy. They can't do that." I went, I know. So she gave me loads of information, so I'm on that. So, you know, I like to share. Because at the end of the day, I am not the only one. I am by far not the only one that is going through this fucking nonsense. And I just want every person out there that is with somebody like this. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. Get evidence, get out. Yeah, they're toxic. They're toxic. And being with people like that and allowing that to continue, it's also toxic for the kids. So yeah, as you can just get those little micro cameras, put them all over the house, just get it on video. Oh, and that's going back to, and this is the thing about being a digital witness, because this is what they're using in courts these days, is video evidence. So if we, not just in, I mean, that's just obviously a specific example for when you're in a relationship with somebody and that they're abusing you. That's get video evidence. Can't say nothing about you then. Just leave with your head held high, like, yes, I've got it. But also just on the street, and I have said this before as well, but it is. We all have a phone, pretty much. So when we're out, we can assist solely by I mean, obviously you can take action if it's safe to do so, to stop things that you think are wrong, like hate crimes. But most importantly, most people always have one of these, and whatever you capture with your phone is digital evidence. So whether that be recording a hate crime, because if you get the capture the person, then that you can give that to the police, and then they can get them from that, and it'll help their case. And if it's police brutality or anything like that, any kind of crime, if you've recorded it, and we all have the opportunity to help people just by getting our phones out if we see something that is occurring that is wrong. And it's not about dobbing on your neighbours and all that fucking nonsense. I'm talking about when you're walking down the street and someone is being, is being racist or being aggressive or any of those, anything like that. If they're doing it because of people's faith or sexual orientation or gender or just any of those things, just with that, and you can do it without even being seen. People are being nervous about, I don't want to, no, it's not that time. We've got to help each other out because there's too much shit going down, and we can all help each other just by doing that. Capturing a car, if it's a crime, you can capture the number plate. You can video just video. I ain't got time for none of these this nonsense no more. We can't be living in society where these hate crimes and all of that go on. And police as well. I'm signed up to this thing called The Root. And I've just seen an email come through, and it's saying that another policeman has shot another 16-year-old black girl. Now, I've read the article, and it's saying there's video footage, and it's saying that the girl that they shot had a knife. Now, I'm going to go back to this thing that I said before. Why? The person shot 4 times. This is a 16-year-old. In fact, it doesn't even matter. Why are you shooting 4 times? Why are you shooting once? Why aren't you using a taser as your first go-to? Use a taser. Why is it always a gun? And not only why is it always a gun, why is it use the gun and shoot 4 times? It doesn't take 4 shots. Why don't you shoot her in the knee if you're going to use a, like, there's just so many whys. Like, none of it makes any sense. Don't use a fucking gun on a 16-year-old having a tiz with her mates. Like, sorry, fat thoughts go out to that family. I think the name is, I have to check it. I'll put the link into the article. It's just way too much. Why is it always a go to the gun? You know, you can't. And it was at the same time. It happened at the same time as George Floyd's verdict, I think, coming out. They were saying, like, this can't go, like, it doesn't, keep making excuses. Nowhere else has this problem with the shooting. Why is it so bad? Then there was a police guy yesterday saying, most officers don't discharge their gun, and and that's probably true. But the ones that do always seem to be shooting black people. Let's just be honest about it. That is a problem. It's a massive problem. And you just can't keep ignoring it. You can't. There's literally been, in the last 2 weeks, I think, and these are just the ones I know about. I mean, I can think of about 10. And a couple of those were mass shootings. I mean, alarm bells ringing, ring-a-ding-ding. You can't keep ignoring that. You can't. It doesn't matter how big and bad and ugly these rifle association people are. You just got to go. It's like, no, mate. Yeah, change come. It's got to. It's got to. I've got loads of I watched this. It's quite a long video though. It's about an hour. And this is, it's all stuff that we've been talking about before, like food is medicine, and this is a really important one for America because it's saying that all of the ultra processed food is causing 10 to 50 million deaths a year from chronic disease as a result of consumption of processed food and all of the shit that they put in it, all of the additives and the E numbers and what. And and that I think it's something like 40% of the population are clinically obese from eating these foods. And they're saying as well that actually the way that the media works and advertising works and how they target certain groups of people as well. And prevention is better than a cure. And obviously, if it's really just a question, you know, if you, well, I've discussed it many times before, but the fact we just eat, we don't look after ourselves very well on several fronts, and there's loads of things that cause inflammation in our body, and it is what we eat and what we drink, how stressed we are. All of those things cause inflammation. Foods, you know, foods that we consume mess with the regulation of our hormones in our bodies and how our neurons work in our brains, and all of these things compounded together just make our bodies, and they just must be so confused and inflamed, which makes us susceptible to disease. And that's probably the underlying problem in why a lot of people have died from COVID. Not necessarily because COVID is that much worse than, I mean, other people are obviously going to go on a hoo-ha about this, but there, you know, obviously there is COVID and then there's long COVID, but would it, if we were healthy, it would not have killed us anywhere near as many people. If we didn't drink as much, if we didn't smoke as much, if we weren't, you know, addicted to caffeine, addicted to sugar, addicted to all the caffeine, sugar, prescription drugs, recreational drugs, alcohol. There's a long list. If they and processed foods, salt, all of those things make your body inflamed. And if you're doing all of those things as well, not, you know, it's only just be like worse, and then you're just going to be in a place where you're gonna get sick. You are going to get sick. And when you look at the statistics on COVID and how many people who had underlying diseases or other problems, it's like a high percentage. There's only a very small percentage of the total number that actually had nothing else. So it's just being aware, isn't it? Because you can't, you know, people eat what they want to eat and do what they want to do, obviously. But it's just knowing that if you do all of those things, then you're going to get ill, and you're more likely to get seriously ill. Because when your body's inflamed, that's also where cancer occurs, in inflamed parts of your body. So it's just one thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. Whereas if we just went back to the start and went, you know what, food is medicine, herbs are medicine, and just looked after ourselves a bit better, then we just wouldn't get as sick. We wouldn't be sick. And the worst thing is, in this video, you see, they actively encourage eating these things, eating these processed foods. They actively encourage sugar, actively encourage caffeine, and all of those things. And obviously, I suppose, it's, you know, have a little bit of it or whatever. But it's just knowing that all of those things are causing massive problems on your inside. But it's an hour long, but it's worth watching it. And there's also a study that says the state of this food problem and the effects it has on chronic disease and diabetes and obesity. They're even going as far as saying it's a threat to national security. Check this, there's a report, what's it called? There's a report called Unhealthy and Unprepared. And they're saying that this issue is a threat to national security because even people in the army are having, illnesses and more. I think the guy gave a statistic. It was like more people got sent home got on medical leave from the army for obesity-based reasons than injuries from war. And that's also because the army themselves are feeding the army not great food either. It's crazy. So yeah. So I'll put that in because I thought that was really interesting. What else have I got? Oh, hold on. Sorry. I've got some other videos and stuff that I'll put in, but I think that's enough for me. Oh, TikTok. So there was a girl on Broombag TV. So this is all for the youngsters who probably won't be watching. Hopefully not, because of my potty mouth. But if you know somebody that is Gen Z, like anyone who's got if the kids can do this. Anyone who's got a phone and has got a TikTok account or a Snapchat account, rather than use it just willy-nilly, as it were, this Gen Z, they're hustling. There's a thing on Bloomberg every night this week about TikTokers that have become multi-millionaires. They're like 17. Multi-millionaires just from being a content creator on TikTok or Snapchat. This girl, that's her name, Katie Feeney. She made $1 million in 6 weeks on Snapchat. $1 million. Do you know what I mean? You need to learn something from these kids. So yeah, I'm going to put a link into her. So if anyone knows any kids that want to, be the next TikTok millionaire or Snapchat millionaire, then get them to watch that. Get them to watch her. She's they're doing it for themselves. You know what I mean? She's still going to go to uni. Good for her. Oh, and there's I heard this thing about Kumo. What's his name? What is his name? Is it Kumo? You know what I'm talking about. Impeachment. They've had 200 calls about him, apparently. 200 calls, reports on him. And the other thing was, there's a I don't know if the NHS are using this or any healthcare system anywhere. This is a good one. It's called UiPath. I just watched it on the stocks today. UiPath. I'll put the link in. And basically, it's a new AI software that makes all of your administration tasks. It automates all of your administration tasks, but particularly, it does it in different industries. But what stood out for me was he was talking about healthcare and how for nurses, bear in mind what's going on right now and how difficult it is, and then having to do all of that paperwork. Listen, 3 hours. He said they worked with these nurses. What would take them 3 hours of administration, because there's a lot of paperwork, isn't there, in hospital, went down to 5 minutes. What that means is you've got more time to actually do, you know, what you love doing, which is caring, versus administration. 3 hours to 5 minutes. That's mega. So I'll put a link in to them, because they're smashing it out of the park, aren't they? So yeah, loving life. Another day done. Check. Just really want to send out the loves and virtual hugs, because it's not easy for everybody everywhere, but we're getting there. So yeah, lots and lots and lots of love to all of you, and I hope you have a lovely afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are, and I shall see you anon for more nonsense tomorrow. What's going to happen in the next 24 hours? You know what I mean? Who knows? Isn't that the exciting thing? Just literally at this point, anything can happen in the next 24 hours. Because yeah, every 24 hours that passes, the amount of crazy shit that's going down is, whew. So cheers, my decaf. Love you. See you tomorrow.